Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first reading vlog of this channel. I am so excited and I don't even know where to start exactly. I actually grew up Mennonite, and so we were not allowed to read anything outside of the whole Mennonite structure. All the books had to be basically written and published by Mennonites, and so yeah, we just weren't really allowed to do anything. Maybe some classics, maybe, but also maybe not. Sometimes it was bad. I don't know. It was just kind of weird. So we did not read anything much growing up outside of that. And I was an avid reader, and all of the books that I was allowed to read, I read them multiple times over and over to the point that I could about quote some parts of the books to you. Not anymore, maybe because it's been quite a while, but back then I could have literally just recited parts of certain books. But after I left the Mennonite, I started to read some novels, and it's been a bit of a journey. It's probably been like maybe 2 to 2.5 years since I've started reading more novels. So I've just been learning what I like, what I don't like. I personally like fantasy and sci-fi, maybe some thrillers. I don't know, I'm still learning about thrillers, and I don't love romance. I mean, there are certain authors possibly that I like more than others, but it's just not really my cup of tea. And also, I read most books on my Kindle. This is the Kindle that my husband bought for me a couple years ago, and this is the original case, and I'm actually getting a new one because it's so old. I'm sure you can see that it's just like dirty, and it's even fraying around the edges here. So this thing has been well loved, it has been well used, and I I have another one that's coming in the mail. But yeah, so I love my Kindle. I'm definitely a Kindle girly, and someday I want to have a library, but right now we actually just moved into a studio apartment, and so I do have some books that I was able to put in our closet, but I just don't really have much space for books. So right now a Kindle is just the way to go for me. And I was just able to sign up for a library card yesterday at the library that's just like 5 minutes over there, and I just got Libby, so I will be able to borrow books from Libby, which is also really exciting. So I guess I've just been yapping for a little while. I I have been thinking, since it's October, I was thinking about fall and fall books, and everybody's reading fantasy books right now, all the booktubers that I'm watching. And that's great, but for me, we just moved and I just wasn't in the mood to get into like the fall spirit yet. So, I did start the book called The Darkest Part of the Forest. Here, let me pull up the cover. So this is the cover of The Darkest Part of the Forest. It's by Holly Black, and I had never read any books by her before, and just this is something that will probably just come out during this channel is I am 100% a Christian, a believer in Jesus, and that affects everything in my life, including the books that I read. So I was reading The Darkest Part of the Forest, and just for me personally, no judgment on anyone else who reads this book, but I personally just felt like it wasn't the book for me. There were some things happening that I did not fully agree with or appreciate, and so I decided to DNF that book. I am not going to be finishing it. Even though it did fit with the fall vibes, it really did, but I just didn't want to finish that book, so I did not. And then I started last week, I believe I started to read this book called When Monsters Lie, and I had gotten this book during one of those stuff your Kindle days when they have like tons of Kindle books for free. So I had gotten it during one of those times. So I'm trying to pull up this cover here. So here's the cover. So in this book, When Monsters Lie. I am 58% done, and I am not sure what to think of this book. It's not like terrible, it's not my favorite either, so it's just kind of mid, I think, and I enjoy the story. The story's fascinating. There's a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, and yeah, it's a well-written story. It definitely has a lot of like mystery, and like she keeps you on the edge of your seat. So I definitely appreciate that. And the story writing is well done. She knows how to write. And the things that I don't like about it, I feel like there's a lack of character development. I feel like there's not very much attention paid to how our characters are like really feeling. And that's not like, it's not like there's nothing there. There is some. So it's not like it's entirely missing, but it's just, I love a book where the characters are feeling all the things, where it's very character driven, very emotional. And I just feel like there's an element of that that's missing. Our main character, our main female character, she is like in love with everybody apparently. I don't know. It's like I just can't figure it out how she's like in love with this one guy, and then it seems like it's changing, and I don't know. I just don't love where it's going. And with the other element of, obviously there's monsters in it. It's called When Monsters Lie. So when you have that, when you come to that part of the story and find out more details, I'm just like, I don't know. It's not my favorite book. Yeah, I guess I should stop yapping and talking and get to reading. Hi, so this is my little ad for the video. So I am writing my debut novel, but I have actually written 2 other books, and they are not novels, they are self-help books. For any Christian girls out there, this is the one that will be for all of the women. It is just packed with truth about how to overcome lies and heal from your emotional pain. This one is for any wives, and I have tried to make it so that it's appropriate for single people to read as well, but it is just for anyone who's interested in getting married or who is already married. So you can order these books. I will have them linked below in every video. So yeah, let's get back to the video. Also, there is a lot of swearing in that book. Like, a lot, a lot. So that's another thing that I don't really love. Alright, so it's the next day, and I managed to finish When Monsters Lie yesterday, and I think my rating of that book is actually 2 stars. I was debating whether it was 2 or 2.5, and I just settled on a 2-star. I did not like the character, the lack of character development really got me. Like, if there is one thing that I can get on my soapbox and say, is that please, if you are writing a book, focus on the characters. It is so vital in order to have an engaging story. And also, I just couldn't really connect to the characters very well. And um sorry, my son is banging on the concrete outside right now. So yeah, I just felt like I lacked that like feeling of connection with the characters, and also just I think it is not a spoiler because it's actually in the like blurb. that there is a love triangle going on, or there's multiple love interests, and it just felt like there wasn't a realistic picture of that, because it's one thing if there are multiple love interests and you have like a lot of pushing and pulling between, like one guy is gravitating towards her and so the other guy who's in love with her becomes jealous, or like you would expect there to be some sort of like emotional conflict, but it looked like there was no emotional conflict. Like the one person who might have been interested in her, it seemed like there was not any jealousy on the part of another man. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it just seemed like there was no, like, where was the connection between all of these people? Like, it almost seemed like the author just wanted to make it so that her female main character was in love with like all of the guys. It just did not make any sense to me. It did not really click for me. So yeah, I mean, I guess I feel like I'm kind of rambling, but it was a 2-star read for me. Also, just like, I can't give any spoilers away, obviously, but there was the plot twist very close to the end of the book that actually was disappointing to me, because it actually showed a lack of character development. It actually showed that there was not growth in the character that made the mistake, and it just did not feel like it was an appropriate ending. I mean, it really was like, a blow that rocked our world for sure. So that was intriguing and very interesting, and I actually don't think I'm interested enough to keep reading, because the actions that the person took actually made me feel like I did not want to continue the series. So I'm not going to continue reading that series. I think it's 5 books and I just don't think I'm invested in. This morning I went onto the Amazon listing and I actually read through the blurbs of each 5 books, so I knew that I was getting spoilers, but I wanted to see like what happened, and it seems like in the end I saw some other reviews where people were saying that they were actually disappointed as well in the ending of like the final book, and I was like, I mean, I don't want to like just judge a book based off of other people's reviews, but knowing that I was also disappointed in this first book, I just don't think I'm going to keep going. So, sorry to anybody who may have loved this book, but it's just not for me, and I think I'm actually going to be making this be the final book for this video, just because this is like my first video, my first reading vlog of this channel, my first sort of intro to this channel, so I'm not going to be continuing reading anything for this video, but that's what 3-year-olds do. Throw things. So yeah, I will definitely be back with more books in my next video. I will see you guys next time. Bye.